of the minutes from May. We did not meet last month, so May 16th was our last meeting. And are there any questions or changes to those minutes?
Felt good to me.
All right, do we have someone who wants to move to approve?
I don't think we have to do that anymore, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
if there
right,
are no
sorry, I forgot. Never
questions.
mind. Okay. Well, then let's just move on to the election of a chair.
This is just annually after the new committee appointments are made and finalized in April and May. We elect chair and vice chair. Your current chair is Michelle Phillips. Your current vice chair is Meg McCombs.
Thoughts?
I'm fine sticking on if you guys want me to. I'm also fine if somebody else would like to take the position of vice chair. I really am very flexible on this. Oh, you
Okay.
can't, can you? Can you, if you're on the council?
I don't know.
How does
You
it
can.
work?
Um,
Anyone can?
Michelle, how about you? How are you feeling?
I feel the same way. I'm flexible. I can go either way. If you want to elect someone else, I'm fine. If you want to keep me, I'm fine.
You guys are great. Let's keep you.
I agree.
Same here.
All right, we're back at it for another year, Meg.
I think they have to vote on it.
Yeah, somebody needs to make a formal motion. I think you can do both
In
in the
one.
same motion, and then we need a second and a vote.
All right, I move that we keep Michelle Phillips as chair and we keep Meg McCombs as vice chair.
I second that.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
All right, motion carries. So now I can say we're back at it for another year. Okay, so let's move on then to budget discussion and recommendations for 2024.
Yes, I just wanted to share one brief update, which is that I recalculated the 0.5% for arts annual allocation, and I actually don't think it's really gonna change anything. So, just as a reminder, the way that we did this is we looked at each of the TIF districts that we have in the city, TIF 3 and TIF 5. And we looked at a couple of options that we recommended to the Common Council. One was that we would receive a 0.5% for arts allocation after a new TIF incentive was approved for a private business. And it would be a way that we would have additional funding coming in for capital projects, but it would be on a project by project basis, which didn't give the Arts Committee a lot of ability to plan for the future, because you wouldn't know what projects were coming up necessarily and how much you were going to be getting from the districts. And so the other option that we gave the council to consider is that we would just do a look back of 3 years of TIF agreements, and then it would just be averaged and based on a 3-year period. And so this was originally approved 2 budget cycles ago, and we did the calculation for TIF District 3, which is shown in red here. And we had so few that the 0.5% amount was going to be so low that we decided not to proceed with even getting an incentive from TIF 3. So we had a TIF incentive for SACO, but the 0.5% would have only been $1,800. And then we had a TIF incentive for 3810, and that was affordable housing. And so that was exempted. So by the time you looked at that and then divided it by 3 for 3 years time, it really didn't make any sense. So we did not proceed with a TIF 0.5% from TIF District 3. And actually that district is closing soon. So that's why I've put it in red, because we won't be getting an incentive from that district going forward. Instead, we focused on TIF District 5, and we originally calculated the 3 years based on 2020 through 2022. And you can see we had a 5,000 and 250,000. So it was a total of about $105,000. And then divided by 3, we got approximately $30,000. And so that was the amount that was put forward in the budget. There was a budget amendment and the council allocated $30,000. And that would have been in 2023 for the 0.5% for arts. Then for the last budget cycle, which is the 2024 calendar year, we didn't even run this calculation again. We just said, we'll stick with 30,000, and that was the amount that we got. So we've received a total of 2 allocations of 30,000 for a total of 60,000, which is the budget that we're using for the Lake Street Park redesign. So then this year I took a look again. We haven't incurred any additional or agreed to provide any additional TIF assistance in that period of time. We do have one development project that we're negotiating with right now, but I don't expect that it's going to be completed by the end of 2024. And so for that reason, we're at this pretty much the same amount. It's 100,000 divided by 3. And so I emailed our finance director earlier today just to confirm that he would agree that we would just stick with the $30,000 for 2025. And that would be for a new project, because we expect the current project would only would use the funding that we have now, but then we would have 30,000 to put towards a new public art project. And again, it has to be a capital project. It has to be a project that will last for at least 10 years time. And so like permanent or semi-permanent, and it needs to occur within TIF District 5.
Is that big tall elevator out on Parmenter in District 5? The one we considering putting a mural on?
What was that?
Isn't it a grain elevator out by the salt storage? That big
By the
tall.
farm.
Oh, yeah, by Graper Pond?
Yeah, weren't we talking about potentially trying to put a mural on that? Is that 5, District 5?
So that's at I'm blanking on the name of the business right now. It's near Graber Pond. I think that it is, but I would want to double check because it might just be like right outside of the boundary. Which actually the Lake Street project is right outside of the boundary as well, because it's in right of way, but we got approval to use the funding for Lake Street.
Okay. Well, I was just curious because that might be a future project for us if
Oh,
we.
thanks, Katie. Yeah, if we go.
We have a map on the wall here at the,
Yeah, I think it's on that very north end in the red, like, I don't know the exact location, but it's nearby. I think it might be just. It might be,
there's a pond.
so Graber is right here, so it might be one of these. That could be like, because this is all Bell Farm and this is all stormwater and open space, and it is on the east side of Parmenter, so I'd say it's probably just barely outside of the TIF district, but I could ask about that if you guys are interested in seeing if that one would.
Well, I'm just thinking about, if we're gonna use this money for Lakeside, that might be a good option, because you and I have discussed this and we've discussed it in meetings before, the potential of maybe doing a mural there and wanting to do more murals. So I was just a thought that I had that maybe that could be a future project if it falls within the TIF, or if it's close enough to the TIF that they would approve it.
And if the business wanted it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Lakeside project, so we're putting 2 years of funds in that, so we're using 60,000 then, is that my understanding for the Lakeside project?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions about this, anybody?
Just a quick question about the future 30,000 I'm thinking I know the answer to this, but is the skate park in TID 3 or 5?
The skate park is in TID 3,
It is,
so it wouldn't be eligible.
okay.
This is the site that Michelle was referring to.
We could put a huge mural on that.
Mhm.
I think it might cost more than 30,000 though. might
Maybe,
be a
maybe
couple
that'd be a
years.
2-year project.
Also, I'm not sure it would last 10 years. That's the only thing.
Yeah. what
Since
is
our
the
mock
life?
mural is already not lasting, what, like 5?
The witch mural?
The mural on the mock. Which we're getting fixed. Hopefully it'll make it.
Well, maybe we'll be painted directly on though and not on the parachute material.
Yeah. The mural on the glass nickel seems to be doing pretty well.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's holding up pretty well. Okay, so any other things about the budget for TIF district, 0.5%?
So that's the 0.5%. And then we have, we currently are doing the project that's the next one on your agenda here, the bus shelter project,
Yes.
which you received a capital budget of $20,000 for 10,000 from the TIF and 10,000 from the general borrowing of the city. And I expect that we're gonna end up actually using most of that, and I'll explain why once we get to the agenda item. And then the other budget you have is your, you have your annual operating allocation, which is 5,000, and that's what you've been using for pop-up and, partially for the art walk and other things as needed. And then you also have your, non-lapsing fund that we kind of went over during the last meeting in May. And that's the fund that when you collect the revenues for the art walk, those all go into the non-lapsing fund because that way they don't expire at the end of the year. And so the way that I've been handling the budget is when we have expenses at the beginning of the year, I charge them to the operating budget because that does go away at the end of the year. And that way we use all of our operating budget funds and then we start to incur costs from the non-lapsing.
Abby, last year we had discussed asking for an increase. And we did not get it in time, remember?
I believe that's my recollection as well. And
Could
you
we-
have time this year.
Yes, could we ask for an increase in budget? And I feel like this is a good time to do that because we have not had a budget increase since I've been on this committee, and that's been, what, 4 or 5 years now? So, I really think this is a good time. Also, I feel like we have a mayor and a council that are supportive of the arts right now. And so I think that we should certainly ask for at least 7,500 as an operating budget, and perhaps even 10 if you think we can push it that far. And let's also remember that in the last few years since the pandemic, everything has increased in price too. And so we're facing the same inflationary problems that everyone else is facing. And so I just would like us to make a plight for more funding. And I mean, I hear all the time from people that they like the art and they like the pop-ups and the things that we're doing. But we, can't continue it if we don't have the money to fund it.
I
Okay.
have a question, if that's okay, Michelle. If we ask for more, did we run short this year? Are we going to run short?
I mean, we are pulling at least some from the non-lapsing fund, but I think that we have satisfied like all the requirements that were put on that fund. There were just a few people who had donated into it that only wanted their donation to be used in a certain way, so there were restrictions. I think that that's basically a general, you can use it as you wish now at this point, but if I were the arts committee, I would want that money to not really go toward general operations as much as like permanent installations.
Yeah. So when I think about the stuff that we ran into at the art walk, like we definitely need a tent, we definitely need X,
Right.
Y, Z. Does that come out of what we're asking for, or is that? So like when we ask for 7,500, that would mean that's the tent money
Yes,
we're asking.
unless like you decided to go for a larger fundraising goal for Art Walk, because we do bring in a lot of donations and then we have revenues from the artists who participate. But yeah, it could also come from there. That would be the same pot. And also if you decided that you wanted to pay for some kind of support for the event, like
Oh, yeah.
staffing
We discussed
support,
that, yeah.
then that could potentially come from that. I am separately, I put together a memo today also about trying to get, we have a half-time position budgeted in our department for Stone Horse Green events, but I'm trying to get that position instead to a full-time position. And then if I'm able to do that, then I would have that person help a lot with public art, events, other events like Art Walk, any tactical urbanism projects that the city wants to undertake. And there's interest currently from the Public Works Committee and the Ped Bike Transit Committee on doing more of that. And then also would be somebody who could help out more with sustainability projects, because Kelly Hilliard, our sustainability coordinator, is managing like a lot of grant funding right now. We have over $5 million of grants that our tiny little department is managing. And so we were thinking like that type of like more general position could sort of help take a little tiny bit from most of our plates, but then also take over for the Stone Horse Green event planning stuff.
Well, and I do want to say also that our budget for Art Walk has increased every year, and as it continues to grow, it is going to increase more. And so I feel like as a safeguard, I would like to have additional funding in our operating budget in case we need it. I'm also concerned with, we do have some aging art pieces too, and probably we're gonna see some more repairs coming down the pike. And so I want to make sure that we have enough funding, to be able to handle all of these things as they come. And Abby, I will support you in any way that you need to get somebody to come in and help you with events and with grants and just alleviating some of that from that workload from you. If you need our support, I'm sure that I know I will, and probably other committee members will support you in that as well.
Thank you. Jolene has their hand raised.
Yes, thanks. I was just going to add, in the Art Walk budget, I think, Michelle, we're losing a grant because we, maxed out on a specific grant. And we're also losing like the billboard, and we want to increase advertising. And if we want to start working towards maybe even getting external vendor to help coordinate and plan, I think that the Art Walk costs could increase. And it'd be nice to take the revenue, as Abby, as you said, that we do make and put that into, some installation or other that isn't reliant on TIF.
Well, and even if we don't hire somebody to help with Art Walk, the expenses increase every year. I mean, our budget last year was the biggest one we've had, and it was almost 15,000. And so I am suspecting that probably that will go up again this year. And I just, I'm a pretty frugal person in general. I just want to make sure we have our bases covered.
Jolene, can you clarify what you meant when you said losing a billboard?
I believe it's owned by the tourism.
Oh,
Correct me if I'm
yes,
wrong,
this is
Michelle.
our last year. This is our last year for the tourism grant and for the billboard. Mari told me we've had it for 3 years, and so they'll be awarding it to someone else next year.
Okay, thank
We're
you.
not eligible to apply.
So do we need
So
to
I
make
think
a
I thought,
motion
sorry.
to ask for an increase in our operating budget?
Yes.
Okay,
And
You
that
wanna-
grant was 1750 that we're losing.
so
And what's the value of the advertising, if we wanted to replace it with something similar?
If what? The billboard?
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
the
I would have to
Okay.
look into it. I don't know how much it costs. They get it for free,
Okay.
6 times a year. And so they've been gracious enough to let us have it. And then during the pandemic, they were letting the school have it to post pictures of seniors. So they've been, but they've been very good about letting us have it every May, for the last 3 years. But I don't know what the cost of that is. Do you, Abby? Do you know how much it costs to advertise on a billboard?
I don't, but we have another agreement or arrangement now with a different billboard that's on the Beltline. And I think that we get it every week, don't we? One
Hmm.
event every week. So I
Oh.
think even if we were to lose that one on Highway 14, we probably have a better opportunity now for the one that's on the Beltline.
Cool.
Great.
That's probably a better location anyway than, well, maybe not. University's pretty busy too.
And Brent McHenry, I believe our communications person is responsible for the one that's on the Beltline.
Okay. So then we need to contact him about that when probably we should do that. We haven't started our art walk planning yet for next year, but that's on my to-do list to set up a meeting for that. Okay, do we have other questions about the budget?
well, I think you have to, are you gonna make a motion or you want me to make a motion? Cause you have to put it in like August 16th.
Yes.
So we won't have a meeting before then.
I can make a motion if you want me to. Or you can.
Okay. At 77,500.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that's adequate, Abby, or should we go for 10? What's your feel?
I don't think you'll get the full 10 if you ask for it, but I don't think you would also have an issue spending the full 10 just because of the cost to run the art walk. So you could ask for it, but just know that they might cut it in half.
Do you want to do 8,000?
All right, we could do 8. I feel like I'm playing Let's Make a Deal here or something. All right,
Okay, I'll make a motion to ask for an increase in our operating budget to $8,000.
I
This
will
is
second that.
Olson. Go ahead.
I guess Michelle seconded it.
Yeah, I seconded.
Yeah. Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Okay,
Is there
motion
anything
carries.
to do, or you just do draft?
I just submit it.
Okay.
And then the finance committee, well, what actually happens now is our department meets with the mayor, city administrator, and the finance department staff. And we go over and explain everything, and then they take it back and look at all the requests citywide and the constraints that we are under. And then they bring back an initial recommended budget. And then they take it forward to the finance committee, I think is how we've done it now the last couple of years, just to try to cut down on the total number of meetings that are involved.
Okay.
So, and then there will also be one night when all the departments present to the finance committee the request. And so I was just taking notes on, some of the reasons why we need the request. I could probably get the full number for the cost for the art walk, explain that we bring in X in donations. They understand inflation because that's affecting everyone. And then I can also talk about the tourism grant that we're not going to be receiving anymore.
Okay. There, and we don't have like any stats from the art walk as to like how much artists made or like how much money was brought in with the art walk, heads and beds. Do we have any of that information?
No, we might be able to estimate it based on the number of attendees and like working with Mari in tourism. She might be able to help us come up with an estimate.
Can the DMBA help us with a number, like this is how much we brought to the downtown businesses
Maybe.
that day? I
Maybe
mean,
they look at their sales from that day and
yeah,
like, how does it compare to a normal Saturday? kind of thing.
yeah, I just think that would give us some good weight behind why this is an important event.
Mhm. We could ask, I don't know if they're gonna wanna, I mean, just because they're all so small and like spread thin, so I don't know if they're gonna like wanna go through the detail, but what we could do that they probably would respond to would be a quick poll on their private Facebook group that they have. And we could say, on the day of the art walk, did your sales increase? Yes, no, and then if yes, by 5%, by
Oh, that's a
10%, you
good
know,
idea.
like just
I
to
love
like
that.
make it a little more simple for
Who
them
does
to,
a post like that?
I can do it. I'm
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a member of their group, yeah.
Awesome, if you're
So we
willing.
can
don't
ask.
mind
Well, we
you-
know long tables increased because we bought our lunches from them.
That's true, yeah. I don't know how many of the businesses will take the poll, but everybody that has a business in downtown is a member of this group. Cause they all get together if like they're gonna close early for a snowstorm or something. That's how they all communicate with each other.
We've struggled from the beginning to try to figure out how many people come to the art walk and how much revenue it brings in, and I don't know how we can quantify that because we don't, we don't charge admission. If we charged admission, it'd be easy. We'd know how many, how much we'd taken in admission, but because it's a free event, and I think it makes it harder to calculate how many people come.
I was just thinking when I worked at an art museum and we were a nonprofit, we had a clicker and we clicked all the, we try to click
Mhm.
people in and keep
Yeah.
track, but it's harder to, when they're coming at different ends of the street. It's
Yeah,
not one entrance.
I have
And they
I have
come
lots
on
of
the street, they
clickers.
come on the sidewalk, and
Yeah,
If
so
we
I,
get enough volunteers, we could totally try that.
Mhm.
I mean, we just
it's
have
chaos.
gating off the whole area, but that's a huge mess.
Yeah.
Is there something that someone mentioned at some point about using phones in the area or data that we can gather?
I think Erin was it Erin Summers who was talking about
Jeez,
that?
I have no idea.
She said like you
think
can
so.
drop like a
That's hard. I know.
fence around an area and like
Mhm.
by cell data, they can count how many people come in and out.
interesting.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
like some sort of geofence thing. Like, yeah. Anyway, something
That's
we could
kind of
work out.
creepy. I think that's kind of creepy. All right. Anyway, budget discussion. Anything else? We've approved the request. So if there's nothing else, then we can move on to the bus shelters.
Yeah, good news on the bus shelters. Meg put together all of the little arts committee logo placard, signifying the name of the artist. And those were put into the designs that Alpha Graphics has been working on. Their plan is that they're going to install them on Monday. And we have a company that is going out over the weekend to clean them for us. We have, they're cleaning all 10. They're gonna do all sides so that it looks really nice, even though it's only the back side that's receiving the art. And they're gonna get rid of graffiti that we have on another shelter while they're out. They are the same company that had repaired the broken glass that somebody had flagged. I think it might have been Jolene had flagged the broken glass on one of them.
Oh, it
And what's that?
or John Q. Hammond's, was that where that was?
Yes, maybe it was Michelle who had flagged that for us. So that's repaired and I think everything's good to go. I heard from Alpha Graphics yesterday and they wanted higher res from for two of the pieces of art, but it happened to be the same artist. And so I got them that information yesterday and like pending no other requests, I think everything is in and good to go. Did you get a check yet in the mail? No.
What time are they gonna install, Abby? When could we get some photos of that? or
Great
where?
question. They did not give me a time of day. So I don't know, but I could shoot a text to anyone who wants to be notified and, you know, like once I hear that they're out and about, I'm hoping to go out and take some pictures too of the installation. So, yeah. And if we need any help with promoting anything, or if we decide we want to do some kind of like press event or ribbon cutting or anything like that, we can have Brent help us with that. When
Yeah,
did
and
you say?
Abby and I talked about doing,
all Monday.
we talked about doing a dedication after the install is complete. And inviting the media to come and kind of just talking about the project. And we discussed, the need to make sure that we, um, put out an announcement that there may be a quorum if, you know, enough of us show up at that event. Um, do weekends work better or weekdays, Abby?
I would have to ask Brent, because if you're wanting to get the media there, he probably knows like the best times of day to have them attend.
Let's try to figure out a date for that, not too long after they've been installed.
Abby, does it put too much on you to ask all that stuff of Brent? Should one of us be doing that?
It doesn't matter either way. I'm happy to. I did send him, it was either yesterday or today, I can't remember. But he was asking for ideas for the Middleton Minute little video clips that they're doing, and I shared this with them, and I gave him a heads up early on that it's coming, so.
Oh, that
So
would be
he
good.
knows, he's aware, yeah.
Well, it's super nice, but I just want you to tell us when you should be doing something.
Okay,
instead of you.
okay. I think I'll talk to him about it. It
Okay.
won't take long.
Okay.
He's good about like knowing what to organize and what to say and all that, so.
Yeah, it's great that we have him.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so then do you want to send out an email to the group when you come up with some times or a time?
Okay.
For us to do like a little dedication thing?
Yes. Is there anything else that you want as part of the dedication? Like, or is it just like we show up? Are there speeches? Are there like speakers happening? Do we want to invite the artists? Like, what were you thinking for it?
What do you guys think?
We did
We
one
could
with
invite the artists.
Starbucks thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we handed something to Emily, what's her name, right? What did we give to her?
Yeah,
I feel
what
like
was
we
that?
gave her something.
We have pictures. I wonder if I can still find it. That was a long time ago.
I
I-
couldn't hear what you said, Meg.
We did this kind of event or dedication with the Starbucks mural on Allen Boulevard with the artist, and the mayor was there and the arts committee. And I feel like we gave the artist something. I mean, she did get paid too, but I don't think she got paid that day.
What did you give her?
I don't know, we're trying to figure out.
Was it a Starbucks gift card?
Probably. Mhm. Let's see.
We could invite the artists and I thought we should invite the mayor and council folks too, if they want to come, and anybody else who might be interested.
I mean, are you just gonna meet at one bus shelter though? Because that's kind of hard when it's all over the place.
Yeah, we're not gonna try to yeah, we're just gonna pick one.
Okay.
We're gonna pick the one you did.
That one is.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. That'll look like favoritism.
It was just
Pick
kidding.
someone else. That'd be like
Um,
negative press.
I would say it should be at a
that.
location that's not like super busy, like busy, but not super busy.
You know who might be a good one is Maria's bus shelter.
Mhm.
Because she's not on the arts committee anymore.
Where's it
And
at?
she's also a Middleton resident, which is nice. 6 of the 10 pieces were created by Middleton residents.
Where's
Or
Marie?
if you, Hers is on, hers is like right by Starbucks, basically, I think. I think it's on the west side of Allen Boulevard.
Okay.
So
Oh,
it'd be nice to give Allen Boulevard some love, because the
Mhm.
downtown, gets a lot of love. The other idea would be going with one of Barbara Bader's pieces. She had the butterfly wing.
I love that.
Mhm.
it's up to you guys. I don't care. Whatever you think is most convenient and best. Um,
The thing about Maria's that I'll just mention is because I attended her other event, she was a bubbler artist in residence at Penny Library for a summer. And the piece that she submitted is the piece that is in the permanent collection at Penny Library that she stitched. It's like, it's paper that she made and dyed, and then they embroidered it. And so it's a photograph of that piece that already exists. So I'm wondering if maybe we should do Barbara, just because
Yeah.
it maybe hasn't gotten as much publicity, whereas the Penny piece might have already been in the news.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Good thought.
yeah, that's fine.
Where's that one located? The Barbara?
So I think Barbara's are, let me see if I can find it. She's got two. Proofs. I think she's got the one at Century and Overlook Apartments. And let me share this one here. So it's like west of, or I'm sorry, east of Allen Boulevard on Century Avenue on the south side.
Oh, that
Uh,
would be okay, I think.
It's like
'Cause there's an apartment
that.
building right there. We could park there and
Yep,
That's so pretty.
isn't it?
Mhm.
yeah, looks great.
And then she's also got.
It was sunflowers. Remember that. I think this is Julie.
Did we put it though? Permenter and Donna? Oh no, that's me. hmm.
Is Barbara also a Middleton resident?
Yes, she
That's
is.
great.
Let's see. Did we put her?
That one looks good.
Yeah,
That's Julie,
I
right?
don't think that that person is a Middleton resident. This one is the other Barbara Bader piece, and it's Greenway and John Q. Hammond's Southbound.
Be good too.
Well, I think either of those would be good because we need to, I think it'd be good for us to highlight either of those neighborhoods that we don't often put artwork in.
I vote Century and Overlook.
The butterflies.
Yeah.
I think that's visually more impactful for media.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
If everybody agrees.
Mhm.
Let's do it.
Did you verify that those little plaques match the artwork when they sent the proofs through?
Yes, I did. I just didn't save the proofs. I verified them all and like zoomed in because they sent
Okay.
them just like this. And I had to zoom in like to read them, but they did. They were
Okay,
all.
I just wanted to make sure. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was, like, really worried that they were gonna put like the wrong name on the wrong artwork, and I was like, ah.
Yeah, no, I was worried about that too. It's all good. They're very.
That dream.
No,
Don't
good.
have it.
Stay up late at night. Oh.
Quick question about the dedication. Would we be able to like just bring a visual that just shows all the other ones and the location, maybe just like a poster?
It's a great idea.
Or to
I would-
highlight the others, I guess.
Thank
Should it be
you.
like a map format or
That
Like
would be
map-
kind of cool.
like map dots,
kinda
but then they
cool.
have like little blurbs that show like the picture?
Yeah, that
Really
would be
neat.
cool. That we could
That'd
hand
be
out.
awesome. Do you have everything you need for it?
Probably from all those proofs that you sent me. I
Okay.
imagine. I think they all have the original artwork up in the corner.
Mm-hmm. That'd be awesome. And then the mayor could like, if the mayor is there and able to like present, she could maybe like point them all out and give credit to the other artists.
Mhm.
Could you put the artist names too?
Mhm.
Okay.
Just like want it to be just like handheld, like 8.5 by 11 or like fold or.
Oh, I was thinking like something we would put on foam core and then
Just
put
something
on a
big.
stand.
Okay, big.
What were you
Like
thinking?
24
Michelle?
by 36, not a takeaway.
Yeah, 24 by 36.
Okay. Yeah.
Although it's gonna be something we don't need after this one thing.
That
So,
always happens though. I mean, I think they're pretty inexpensive.
and unless there's like a way to, I mean, could we put it up somewhere? Like
How about right in the lobby?
for people to like see it? I mean, leave it up for like a while
Just
so
for a
that,
period of time.
yeah,
I think that would be really cool.
okay.
The headline could say, look what the arts committee is doing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I love that.
I know. Cool stuff. Look here.
And you could share the graphic like on social media as well.
Yeah.
Which would be nice to have, a concise listing.
Great.
Yeah, and it could also go on our art map.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna have to update the map.
Okay, so we need a date for this and then we can proceed forward with inviting people. Do we want to get little gifts for the artists? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I can't remember if we did.
Yes.
I mean, they are getting paid, so we probably don't need it. Maybe the recognition is enough.
Agreed.
Okay, yeah, you're right. They are getting paid. All right.
Are we thinking in August sometime? I'm wondering, we need to give the artist enough time to RSVP or, right?
Or they just show up.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think August is probably good.
Yeah, I would shoot for the beginning of August if we can. Cause again, we don't want it, we don't want it to be out there for weeks before we have a dedication.
Yeah, that's a good point. Early August. Okay. Forgot to tell you too, I alluded to it under the budget, but we had come in originally like 4,000 under the budget, but then I had to pay the guy to go clean and repair that broken glass. But the other thing that came up is I was sharing this with our public works and engineering staff, and they were like, does that have an anti-graffiti coating on it? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Let me check. And I reached out to AG and they said, no, that would be 2,400 extra. And that was like almost exactly how much we had left. So we went with the anti-graffiti coating. So fingers crossed it works. And
Cool.
yeah.
Did not know there was a thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know how it repels spray paint and other things that people do to our bus shelters, but hopefully it will help with the longevity at least a little bit. So it's like a laminate that they put over the top of it.
So like Teflon, it just slides right off.
Yeah, I don't know if it like, if it's just literally like a piece that they put over and then they take it off if it gets graffitied and then you pay to replace. I don't know how it works,
Mhm.
but for 2,400, it was worth it for all times.
All right, so Abby then will get back to us with some details once we have a date set and we know what we're doing with that.
Yep.
Okay, so should we then move on to the boat launch?
Yes. So Meg and Sebastian and I sent out the call for artists and Sebastian put it on Coda Works. And the deadline to apply is July 31st. And so far we have one response that we received.
Hmm,
I really like our one response though. I really like her work. It's one good one versus a bunch of not so good ones.
You
But-
tell us her name?
It is
I don't know if we should do that because since the
Make
deadline's
it-
not,
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
we can wait till the open period's over. my guess is we will get a couple more right before the deadline.
Did
That's
you,
pretty
did you
common.
tell me and I,
No, I said all far.
Do you think that we should open it up? We were discussing that to more artists.
Who
Or-
did the RFQ go to?
It went to maybe 10.
It was at the most 10, but probably where we received this response, I'm guessing, because it wasn't one that we directly sent it to. I think it must have been through Sebastian's. Listing.
Yeah, it is a familiar name to me. I'm not super familiar with their work, and I know it's a little grim and discouraging to only have one application for something like this, but I something I see really consistently all the time is that these applications will come in at the last minute. So even extending the deadline might I'm curious to see how it's gonna go. I do think it can be wise not to talk over the applications until the application period's over.
Agree.
But I think we may get more, and if we, applications close and we still don't have enough, or we don't have any that we're happy with, I can look at working out an email campaign to the cover works list too. That's something we can do if we're not happy once we close. I think reopening it, doing that might be a good plan and something I would be happy if.
All right, so we have a couple more weeks before that closes out then.
Yep.
Okay, so shall we revisit that then once we have the applicants ready to discuss?
Yes.
All right. Well then, shall we go to Invisible Earth? Invisible Work?
Yes, I wish that I had a better update for you. I haven't been out to look at it. Has anybody else gone out to look at? Okay.
Did they say they did the work already?
Well, they got out there and they started to do the work. And then they said that the grass was too tall and they needed it to be mowed, but it was right after one of the many big storms that came through, and our crew was like cleaning up 60 some trees. And so I was like, can you guys mow as soon as you get to it? And they didn't get to it for like 1 week after the day that they left because the grass was too tall. So I let them know as soon as it got mowed. And she said, thanks, no problem. But then I never heard anything back. And I wrote her and I was like, did you do the work? Did you go out there? Do you want me to meet you out there? And I haven't heard anything. So I'm not sure what the status is. I probably should just drive out there.
Yeah,
and
I
take a
can try
look.
and drive out there tomorrow too.
I'll have my car here tomorrow so I can go check it out too.
Okay, so we don't know for sure then what's going on with that.
Don't know. Sorry.
That's okay. All right, well then let's move on to Art Walk. Art Walk, we had our wrap-up meeting a few weeks ago. Art Walk went pretty smoothly in general. Most people were very happy. We had a couple artists that didn't sell very much, but most everyone did well and was pretty happy with the day. We had a few glitches throughout the day. We had a problem with the balloon twister. We had a problem with the wind. There were just a few small glitches. Nothing major happened. So I feel like it was a success. We discussed some of the things that went well, some of the things that we want to tweak a little bit. And as I said, I'm going to be getting ready to set up a Art Walk 2025 meeting here real soon. What do you guys want to add?
I love the idea that we were talking about changing how the silent auction worked and have each artist feature the piece that's in the silent auction at their very own booth, so that there's not a separate tent that we have to tend and worry about the pieces, etc. And then it'll just be like a clipboard at each booth so that there can be a bidding war. People want to It just seems so much easier.
And then like maybe like we can get some little plastic holders, like maybe even just like 4x6. This is like silent auction piece, like put next. to
Right,
it.
yeah, we'll label it silent auction piece. Yeah, I think that just sounds so much more reasonable. So I know especially with the wind, we were kind of freaking out about stuff falling down and.
Yeah, the wind was crazy and it was blowing stuff around and a lot of stuff comes in day of and it's just too hard to manage.
Yeah, no, I think that that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, and
Also,
I,
if there's I'm sorry, if there's pieces that don't have bids, then the artist can, take it with them if they
Right.
want to.
Yep,
Mhm.
we did our food trucks, two of them sold completely out. Um, one of them had just a couple items left. The Lily's Magical Treats, they had hardly anything left at the end of the day. So all the food trucks did well. I'm gonna try to add patties in again next year so that we have 5 savory and then a sweet. Because by the time I went to get food at 3:30, there was hardly any food left. So we still had an hour and a half to go, and the food selections were pretty scarce. Um, so yeah, I think overall though it went well. Anybody else want to say anything about Art Walk?
Wish we had a dedicated tent for like pop-up at Art Walk and at other pop-up events, which we can bring up later at pop-up if you want, but I was just thinking about at Art Walk. Like I brought mine from home, it's not great, it's kind of falling apart. We had one that was blowing, so.
We'll definitely talk about it at
Yeah.
pop-up because I have feelings.
Okay, okay. All
Well,
right.
we've talked about purchasing some tents that the Art Walk just owns. And that was one of the things that we discussed in our wrap-up meeting. So we'll be discussing that during planning and how to budget that. So yes, we're aware and we're borrowing pop-up tents from all sorts of people. And it would be better if we just had 2 like small designated tents.
I think
that
we
we
need
can
like
use.
some very basic like tents and tables, especially if we're gonna keep doing pop-up art in more
Tables.
places, like that are just like this goes with pop-up art. So then whoever is running the pop-up art has access to them.
Do you think it needs to have like the walls or just a cover?
Honestly, just a cover would be great.
Well, we were talking about doing something that actually would have walls for Art Walk and that we would,
So maybe we need to talk about
so maybe
like
we
pop-up
buy
separate
pop-up,
from.
maybe we buy for the pop-up art and for the kids' art at the Art Walk, we just buy a couple of pop-up tents.
Right, or do we talk about maybe doing pop-up art having its own dedicated tents? Because like when we did Pride, we didn't have a tent until Jolene delivered a tent. So,
Well, I think we'll have to share them. The Arts Committee will have to share them.
Right.
They would be, but,
Okay.
and I don't know how that works. Like, Abby, is that something that we could designate as just our own thing? Because like, I kind of wanted to do that with the cords, but then, and the cord covers, but then they just went to the maintenance building, right? So does
Actually,
that mean?
they're here. Jolene brought them here, so I put them in our closet with the rest of our Art Walk stuff.
So could we just designate tents for ourselves then and stash those in our storage space if we have room?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
that'd be
Well, I
fine.
think that's something that we can talk about when we start talking about how we're gonna spend our new budget.
I just wanted to add that the Art Walk after event was, really nice and fun, but also exhausting at the end. But I think that it's something I think we'd like to continue, right, Katie?
yeah, I thought it was really fun. I mean,
Mhm. I had a blast.
we were so punchy by the end. Yeah. But I thought it was a success. I thought it really did keep people downtown.
Yeah.
And it was
Lot
the
of people
perfect
there.
length of time, 5:30 to 7. We were done. We were like energy wise, we were done. And it was enough time for people to have dinner.
Yeah,
I know
What I
it's hard to
noticed-
get volunteers for the event, but I really feel like, you know, like the previous years where I worked the whole day, I was exhausted. I'm sure you guys all felt like this. I felt like I had a hangover the next day, even though I didn't drink, you know, it's like one of those things where like you
Mhm.
feel so terrible,
You're
which is why this year I only volunteered for like 4 hours. I was like, it's not worth my health.
Yeah.
So I also like worry about Michelle being there for so many hours. She was there from like 4 a.m. until like 6 or 7 p.m.
Yeah,
Like, I do think that we need to
hardcore.
really seriously try and find more volunteers. And also, I think there might need to be like an hour limit on the amount that the committee can volunteer in a day, because I worry that there's gonna be like some sort of health issue and we're gonna have to like call the ambulance or something.
Oh,
If
wow.
somebody's like
Okay,
dehydrated.
I'm not that old. I don't need an ambulance just yet.
Well, still, you know what? You know, you felt the same way the next day where you feel like you can't even like move because you're just like,
Honestly,
oh
this
my
year
God.
I felt pretty good the next day. I was hosting 6 people, 6 guests at my house at the same time, and
That's just crazy. But
So-
maybe like if like Katie and Jolene do the after party, then they're only allowed to do like the takedown. You know,
yes,
like the last half of the art walk, and then they go to the after party, because I know they were both there like first thing in the morning. So it's just like, it's a way
yes.
too long day.
Well, Jolene wanted to help set up and I told her no.
I did listen to
Um,
that.
So, yes, I agree. And I think that we need to get the sign up genius out sooner. And I think that we need to also like really, we have a good working relationship with the art classes at the high school, but we need to utilize some of these other groups and see if we can pull some of these, excuse me, other groups in to help us as well.
I'm
Um,
also a member on the chamber, so I wonder if it's something that we could like talk to them about getting more volunteers,
awesome.
like business members and.
I've asked them to advertise it for us, so I don't know, like, maybe one of us could go and give a presentation at one of the chamber events ahead of it. It's not gonna be me though, because I just about passed out having to be on stage giving scholarships. I cannot speak in public. I just cannot do it. I'm sorry. I've tried. I've tried for y'all, but I cannot.
I'll bring Abby to do it. She's great at speaking in front. No.
Abby is great. Abby can come and give a presentation. I'll
Don't
be
worry,
there for
they'll
moral
only give you
support.
like 2 minutes on their agenda,
Yeah,
so
it's
it'll be
pretty
super
fast.
short.
Mari presented in the last one and she was like, I was told I'm only allowed to have 8 minutes and last time I took 15, so.
Yeah, they're very,
It's like, oh my God.
they play music if you talk too long.
Oh, that's incredible. I mean, just say, like you're in a work show, fabulous.
Okay, so let's brainstorm how we can get more volunteers. We'll put that on the.
All right, and let's discuss that at the art walk subgroup meeting. And of course, if anyone would like to join us in planning, we would love to have you in planning. You don't have to be a committee member to be on the planning committee either. So if you know somebody else who might want to help, then you can send them along our way.
Worry about quorum, right? With
Yeah.
working.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we
do
can't
need to
have-
keep an eye on quorum.
That's why I don't normally go to the meetings. So you guys can just like send me tasks and I'll
Cool.
just do them.
Awesome.
So I don't
So-
like take up somebody's.
Who's on the meeting? Am I on it still? Like,
On the planning,
for art walk? Yeah, because I
Well,
was
we
doing the
brought
kids
you
zone.
in
Yeah, so I'm
at
wondering,
the end.
right, so,
We'd like
Um,
you to keep doing the kids stuff if you want to.
right, I'm just
But Aaron
wondering,
doesn't count.
for quorum purposes,
right.
how many people can we have? Do we have too many already?
So-
right?
I just looked this up today, because we got the question from a different committee about a negative quorum, which we also learned about in our open meetings law training. So when the committee is full, we will have we will have a total of 10 voting members. We require 6 members to hold a meeting because you need to have half plus 1. You need to have a majority of the members present. But a negative quorum is 5, because if 5 people vote yes on something and 5 people vote no, then the action fails. So you cannot have more than 4 members once you have a full slate of committee members. But right now, you only have 8 members on your committee because we have 2 vacant seats, the high school student and our recent resignation. And so right now, you cannot have even 4 because 4 would be a negative quorum. You
Right.
can only have 3 members together without posting it as an open public meeting.
So
I think what we're
Michelle,
gonna need to do is, because I was thinking about this, I think what we're gonna need to do, because I would still like you to work on the planning of the kids stuff if you're willing to. But I think what we're gonna have to do is we're going to have to like pick a meeting where one of us sits out so that Elizabeth can come. Or I think
Yeah.
that I think we can work with this.
that sounds fine to me. Yeah,
Okay.
like reasonable.
Yeah.
And that's only limited time until we get our full committee back up and then Elizabeth could attend. So
Right.
hopefully by the time you're really in the thick of it, we'll be okay.
Right.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
So then I will let y'all know when I have some dates for the first Arts Committee planning meeting. Anything else? Shall we go to scholarships?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I gave out scholarships. As I said, I am very anxious speaking in public and I cannot do it anymore, but I did survive. And we gave away $2,000 scholarships, and as far as I could tell, they were grateful to get them. I also bought some graduation cards, greeting cards for them, and signed it as the committee. And so yeah, it went smoothly.
Awesome.
I don't really have anything else to say.
Does the art teacher, art department at the high school choose the recipients?
I,
Yes. Actually, there's a committee, I think, that chooses.
yeah, I think that there's a committee, through like the education scholarship, something that decides on all of them. So the kids, the students submit their applications and then there's a review committee and they have several different scholarships with different focus areas and then they make the decisions.
There were a ton of scholarships. It was an hour and a half long. And yes, um, it's pretty impressive. There are no repeat scholarships either. They don't repeat scholarships so that everybody has a chance at one. So
That's
yeah.
cool.
it went
Were
well.
they say how much the other scholarships are?
Some of them do. I don't think I kept the program. Um, I don't think, in general, I don't think they had the amounts listed.
Okay, I was just curious if ours was like a normal amount of a scholarship or if.
I think they're all over the board.
Okay.
You know, some of them are higher, some of them are only 500. So I think they're kind of all over the place. All right. Any questions, comments about scholarships? All right, then let's go to the youth center. I have not yet started scheduling these, but I have made a list of artists last week that I'm gonna contact. Meg, will you be able to do a class this year?
Sure. Wait, what time is it? Can't remember.
Thurs-
What day is it now?
You have a job
Thursday,
now.
I know. I'm like, wait,
Thursday from 4 to 5.
yes, I can do that.
Okay. Is she still?
Julia is not logged on right now. I didn't hear from her.
Okay. I'm gonna ask her if she wants to do one too. Does anyone else want to do an art project at the youth center? It is 1 hour, a little more than an hour by the time you set up and tear down. And we do it the first Thursday of every month. So if you want to do something, then just message me and let me know. And Meg, I'll put you down for one.
Okay,
I'll
maybe
get
I'll
everybody
do
else.
black printing this time.
Oh yeah, you should.
That'd be fun. Although it involves sharp instruments, I wonder if I have to do that.
I think that's fine. I think they'll be fine with it.
Okay, I can, oh wait, I was gonna say I could ask
Bring
Gabrielle, but she's not there anymore.
I'm sure they use, I'm
fine
sure they
now.
use stuff like that in
He
art.
was
class.
the
He was there
assistant.
before.
Mhm.
John is the new director. I
Okay,
can I'll send you John's email.
okay.
Quick question, Michelle.
Yeah.
Can these youth center art projects be music or dance, or are they all, visual or physical, I
They
guess?
they have been all like, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, visual art, yes, but it's hands-on, so
Okay. Well, I was just
yeah,
thinking
they
like
did
the harmonica lesson,
the harmonica
know,
lesson, that would be great. Good idea.
or like a dance,
Do you think Eric would be willing to do that, Katie?
Yeah, I think so.
No pressure. Do we have any leftover harmonicas we could take and give them?
No, we got rid of them.
got rid of
We were
them.
Told specifically, there was like 5 or 6
Yeah,
left,
so
and we were like,
Passed them out.
Take them.
Yeah,
That's okay. We can buy
away.
some more. We can buy some
We
more.
can get more.
First Thursday of a month from 4 to 5.
Yes. And so you can get there you can get there around 1:45 to start setup if you need setup time. And then the kids are there till 5 and then whatever tear down.
Mhm.
They might not let them.
They won't let you in until
Yeah.
And
it's
where's
outside
it
at
held?
3:36.
Where is it held?
primary, middle school.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll ask him, but I think that he would love it.
Okay, I think the kids would love it too. That would be something different. Good idea, Jolene. Good idea, volunteering Eric.
Jolene, Eric thanks you.
I'm sure.
Okay. So yes, so if anybody else wants to do something, then just let me know and I'll get in touch with Julia and see if she wants to do the cartooning class. That's been a favorite, so hopefully she'll want to do that again. And yeah, that's all I have on the youth center. Website and social media, we haven't met yet. We were kind of waiting till after Art Walk was over and I forgot about it. So Beth and Jolene and I are supposed to meet and talk about this. So we should probably get a meeting on the calendar.
Yes, sorry, I forgot to send out a poll. I was going to do that.
Do you want to do that? And then we can
Yes.
figure out when
I
we can
will.
meet.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Pop-up art. Here we go.
Hey, well, we have a
Yes.
couple events to talk about that just happened, which was the Pride event, which Beth and Jolene can tell us about. It sounded good.
It was
Yeah.
really fun. We were very, very busy the whole time. It definitely pointed out that we need to have our own tent and we need to have our own tables.
Mhm.
And we probably also need to have like some of our own actual like bins to put supplies in and stuff. Like, I think we just need a very basic structure that we have available for pop-up art because
Right.
Travel kit.
yeah, like a travel kit to just kind of pop up. But
Mhm.
so I think when we start talking about the next budget, we definitely need to kind of figure out like what do we actually need for pop-up so that we can appear in events and places.
Card.
Oh
Would
my
you
God.
guys want to
Oh
get
my gosh, those are probably
That'd be
expensive
so
though, but that'd be really cool.
Okay, we need to figure out at very least some dollar store bins to set supplies in.
Do
Mhm.
you
I will
guys
say-
want to come up with a rough budget to bring to the next meeting?
Yeah, I could do that. Just tell me what you guys think. I think a table for sure, a big enough table or
2
two, because we
tables.
get kids
folding ones that
making.
you can
yes,
carry.
right,
You need to have
right.
them manageable, right?
We have kids that are making art, we have to set the supplies on it, so at least 2 folding tables, but listen, the banner is. It, like my table that I have, it's like folding around it, and I feel like it's kind of, it doesn't look very professional unless I have a long enough table.
It's too long.
My table's too small,
So
my personal table.
So they
It's just-
measure it.
did you want to have a meeting like about just pop-ups, like how we do subgroupings?
Yeah,
Should we do that and then come back to the next meeting with a budget?
that might be good instead of having a big long conversation about
Would
what
that
we
make more
need.
sense?
Yeah, yes. Why
Yeah.
don't you guys get
So
together
do you
and
wanna meet
figure
up and
out
do
what you
that?
need?
Okay,
Okay,
so the two Beths, Elizabeth and Beth.
yeah,
And then you can like look up prices and everything
Okay.
and see.
If you need.
Yeah,
any
measure the
help,
banner,
let
cause
me
I
know.
can't remember.
yeah, definitely.
Right. I can't remember how long that banner was, 6 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet?
I'll have to measure, I can't remember.
We've been using very
I was
like,
gonna point out too,
tape,
though, if we have a
so-
pop-up, we can string it on in the pot
Yeah.
between the
Right,
posts, because then it'll even be more visible, unless we want something for the table too.
I definitely think that's a good idea, because that will be way better. But right now I was just using a canopy I had from home and it blows in the wind, it's just, it's
Yeah.
not great, so we need something more functional.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Let's make sure when you do buy a pop-up that you get weights for it as well.
yes.
oh, yes, good idea.
Say what Jolene brought to Pride was perfect, because it was just like, boop, and then weighted down, and we had our own little,
Yeah, a lot of the tents now come with the,
okay.
Okay.
I call them ankle weights.
Yeah, so
Okay.
definitely we'll put together a list and then kind of go over it at the
Okay.
next meeting, I think.
And then,
We did buy weights for Art Walk, right?
Jolene did for.
I
For her
did,
tent,
And,
yeah.
Oh, wait,
No, we
oh,
don't
they're
have-
Jolie, they're
Personal,
Jolene's
yeah.
personal, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, we
But
should
when
have.
when we think about buying a tent for Art Walk, we also will be getting weights. And actually, one of the things we talked about at the Art Walk meeting, wrap-up meeting, was requiring people to have weights. Because I know that one of the artists loaned some weights to someone whose tent was blowing away. Some people's artwork got blown around. At the end of the day, one of the tents got blown down when they were tearing down. So we definitely want to make sure that we have that in place.
Sebastian has his hand up.
Oh yeah,
Actually-
I'm so sorry guys, but I'm late to family dinner and I have to run. Thanks so much. I will see you guys all next month and we can, keep going on business. Sorry, I just have to get going. But
No,
have a
totally
great night,
chat
guys.
too.
See you, Sebastian.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Can I just jump in on pop-up art too, just to report, we had 65 people come to the library in the park event, which was at Orchid Heights, and it was really fun. We did these bookmarks and it was great. And we have a few pictures of that I can show sometime, but I don't have with me now. And then also we will have the one tomorrow, Rock the Ramp, which I'm excited and a little nervous, but we're gonna get there. But we had an elder, one of the
Yeah,
elders,
Jeffrey Jackson.
Jeffrey Jackson's gonna come, and Jolene and I.
Katie mentioning it at the council meeting.
I turned the screws.
So we have three of
He
us.
said everything.
Yeah, and we're gonna make paper airplanes, so I just, my kids have been helping me make some, and then,
I was proud.
and then, we'll have markers out, they can decorate them, but I have a book, how to make paper airplanes, so that's what we're gonna be doing tomorrow. And I found out that it's really hard to park there, so I'm gonna have to go during the day, set up, and then, and I have a full-time job now, so I'm gonna do it on my lunch break, and then we're gonna come back. And we're going to have the event from 5 to, so parking's gonna be a challenge, but that's why we set up early, but all we have to do is show up then and walk. the
So you're not
distance.
teaching anymore?
No, I'm full-time at a company in Middleton now. Yeah, so we can talk about that later.
Oh, yeah,
Not in the meeting, but anyway, so this is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited, but
Do you have enough people now?
I think we do, because Jolene, you said you might have a teen.
Yeah, I'm bringing
Okay.
my high schooler, my freshman.
Awesome.
So,
And
yeah.
myself, Jeffrey, and then I might have one of my middle schoolers. So I think we'll have plenty. It's just you and I can chat about maybe the setup.
yeah.
And I did
wh-
see Jeffrey the next day after he signed up, and he also said that he would be there for more time. So if you needed more help, he plans to be there the whole night, he said.
Okay.
So
So
Right.
I think that's all we need for that.
Yeah, I think with the parking situation, it's probably gonna be when we try to leave, because there still won't be close parking. So I'm bringing this the wagon that we delivered lunches in, one of those. And I think that's just something to throw at the pop-up committee, or working group rather, as
Really
Guys,
Another
don't be afraid to
thing you might
park
want.
in front of the hang, don't be afraid to park in front of the hangar with your flashers on. And then unload and then go park.
You're talking
Okay.
about while we're setting up during lunch.
Well, what if you
They
didn't
told-
have to set up until?
No, they told
3:30?
me that the cutoff is 3. It's VIP very important people, like, we can't.
All right.
Yeah. So
I told one of their volunteers yesterday that they're expecting 10,000 people.
Yeah, I don't know.
let's hope I have enough paper.
Yeah.
Hey, have what you have and
Right.
you get to close down.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah, that's
you might be
right.
done early. Be like,
There's not even like there's like literally
Yeah.
not even a parking lot out there. Like I have no idea. I mean, ETC,
Penny Klein,
Penny Klein,
firefighters park, ETC.
but for 10,000 people.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why we're setting up early.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
So,
it's a
other
cool
plans
event.
for pop-up art.
Just that we're gonna have the event in September, but we can bring that up at the next meeting. That's gonna be that Renaissance Festival type thing with the library at Lakeview Park, September 21st, I wanna say, it's a Saturday. We're gonna make crowns, I think, and shields, and so I just have to try to source materials. I feel like we could somehow between people having the ribbon that I got from you, I'll put a call out for fake flowers, stuff like that, and what would the shields be made out of? I need help maybe thinking about that.
Paper plates, cardboard.
Yeah, so stuff like that.
Yeah.
The flowers, I wonder if the Historical Society,
She said yes, hit her up
Okay.
for that because they had extra, so.
yeah, good.
Yeah, I just got follow-up
Okay.
before September.
And I know that this has been on my plate too, and I haven't done it yet, but the other idea would be Brian Strasberg, who used to be on the committee, who lives like right up the street. He was a cartoonist for many years for like decades for the Isthmus, but he has all kinds of art supplies and he said he had some stuff that he wanted to give us.
Right.
And I don't know what it is. And I haven't seen him in a while either, so I
He
probably.
told me that too, but I don't feel like I have the expertise to say.
Yes or
yes,
no?
is great or no.
I don't either, but I wanna go just because I wanna see like what he has, because I've been interested, so I just wanna go with.
I would go and, I have a lot of storage space, so I can bring stuff to store.
Okay, cool. I also have a gigantic storage area that can be used for nothing else, because the ceiling height's really low in my house, so if we put anything in there, we can.
Great. I think that just September 21st, keep it in mind, we need to source materials.
Okay.
Okay. Excuse me. All right. Special events.
I got nothing this time. So, um,
All right.
yeah, I think it's been hot and I haven't gotten around to it, but, I'll touch base with Melissa again and try to get him in the fall when it's decent out.
Is there anything at Stone Horse Green happening? I guess I just.
Yeah, there's actually a band playing there right now.
Awesome.
All weekend. This weekend is really busy down there. Well, today, tomorrow, and Saturday, because it's shop and stroll.
Shop and stroll, that's right.
So there's like kids activities, there's yoga class, Peter Kraus fitness class, Kona Ice is down here every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 1 to 4. And then there's a band playing, and I think she's at 2 on Saturday. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on out there. Very fun.
Cool.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Don't need one.
You can just declare it.
All right, we're done.
51.
We're adjourning. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Abby too.
You-
Write a check on one of these t-shirts.
City of Middleton.
Wait, I want to hear about your job
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
and like
Wait,
you
when
have a new house.
Oh, we're just recording.
Bye.